The commission that's going to cook up the new maps has 7 members. They include the Secretary of State, the governor, and the state auditor. The trend of thieves getting under cars and swiping catalytic converters has been increasing throughout the pandemic. But it's not the first time that we've seen a spike in this type of crime. And if it misses that shot, the job gets turned back over to the General Assembly, who gets a second shot at making a map with a new deadline of November 30th. And if nobody can draw up a good play at that point, and the maps only pass by a simple majority, then we'll have to play this game over again in 4 years. As you can see, there's still a lot of smoke in this area. Since we last chatted at 5, the roof on this building has partially collapsed. This is a story we've been bringing you since we first sent you the push alert on the 13 ABC app and brought it to you as breaking news at 6 o'clock. We were going between 25 and 30 miles an hour, so it was not great there on the interstate. The wind is really picking up here outside of Perrysburg. Hey Lee, good evening. We're back here at Cullen Park where we were speaking to you during the 5 and 6 o'clock hours, and it's a very different scene here. High victim shootings in Ohio have really gone up this year. We've had 24 already in 2021. Last year, we had 26, and that was an increase from the previous 2 years. Lee Diane, 3 of the 5 scholarship winners came from up here in Northeast Ohio. Cuyahoga County got its 2nd scholarship winner tonight. Hi everybody, Josh Croup on Action News now coming to you with some breaking news. Bowser High School is on lockdown as we take you out live and get some live pictures here. Ohio is also now deploying 1,250 more members of the National Guard to hospitals across the state. We just got a statement in from the Crumbley's attorney, and I'm reading this for the first time along with you. We just brought it to you as breaking news on 13 ABC Action News at 5, and now we want to break down for you what we have just learned from the university. He is sick of driving by this bad balcony on East Broadway. He wants that action taken before it's too late. Since we were out here earlier this evening, they have put some support beams up to keep the rest of the roof intact here. 75% of the winners were also the host countries. Team USA, 7-1. Whenever playing here on American soil. Mayor Wade Kapsakevich, another 4 years in office. When you look back at this campaign and this evening, how do you put it into words? Yeah, Kristen, you were just talking about what's hot. Our lobby is also hot, filling up with toys. You can't even walk through this path that used to be here just a few days ago because of all of the generosity from our community. Seconds after we opened the phone lines, they were all full. I will tell you, our army of volunteers right now here from the American Red Cross does have a couple of phone lines open. A lot of details still to iron out here by police, but here's what they were able to share with us as I'll show you some video that our photojournalist Chris Henderson took earlier this evening. We are on the 3500 block of Upton Avenue, and it's a very somber scene right now. I'll step out of the frame and give you an idea of what we are looking at. 1 mile back this way is mile marker 160. That's where this traffic stop happened. It's right as you're getting into Findlay.
The state is losing a seat in Congress, and state lawmakers are tasked with redrawing the congressional map. 13 ABC's Josh Croup is here to explain the looming deadline they face in Columbus. Josh.
Lee Diane, the General Assembly has to redraw those maps instead of the 7-member redistricting commission that you saw redraw the state legislature maps this week. But that committee's work may not be done. As the clock struck midnight, the vote began. And Thursday, by 12:01 a.m., Ohioans had 2 new maps, good for only 4 years.
We know that this matter will be in court.
These are the new state legislature maps drawn by Republicans and only supported by Republicans on Ohio's redistricting commission. They were produced at the end of a revamped process that was meant to be bipartisan and transparent to cut down on gerrymandering. The final maps publicly introduced 90 minutes before they were approved.
It didn't have to be this way.
The next test of this revamped process is for the General Assembly to create new congressional districts. 3/5 of members in each chamber have to okay the maps for them to last for 10 years, including at least half of the members from each party. The General Assembly gets the first shot at drawing up a new map with the September 30th deadline. If it misses its shot, the job gets passed back to the redistricting commission with a new deadline of October 31st. And if it misses that shot, the job gets turned back over to the General Assembly, who gets a second shot at making a map with a new deadline of November 30th. And if nobody can draw up a good play at that point, and the maps only pass by a simple majority, then we'll have to play this game over again in 4 years. That's where we're at with the state legislature maps as we end this week, after a process some on the commission hope is not repeated.
I fear we're going to be back in this room very soon. And when we are, this process will be different. It is not going to work this way next time.
Shoot me.
We're not going to shoot you, man.
Shoot me,
no
man.
one wants to do that.
I'm strapped, bro.
No, you're not.
I'm strapped. I got it on me.
Bola, bola, bola. I'd be safe to say that a lot of our officers would say we wish we had this a long time ago.
Well, it is the newest tool used by police officers in the city of Defiance. The chief says after seeing it in action, he believes every department should have some. 13 ABC's Josh Croup is in the Action News Now streaming center to explain how it works. Josh.
Diane, it is called the Bola Wrap. This lasso-like tool acts as a set of remote handcuffs. It's only been around for a few years, and it's only been in the hands of Defiance police officers for a few months. But the chief tells me it has been a welcome addition.
I definitely think this is beneficial for all departments to have.
Todd Schaefer has had his eye on the Bola Wrap for a while.
Bola, bola!
The City of Defiance police chief has seen the new tool demonstrated in controlled settings, and he's seen them used by officers in the field elsewhere to safely detain people who are combative, resisting, or having a mental crisis.
Bola, bola, bola. We got an ambulance coming for you, buddy. That's what we're here for, okay? You're not in trouble.
Now he's seeing them used by his own officers.
They hear the pop, and they look around. Next thing you know, they're just stuck.
Defiance police have deployed the Bola Wraps 3 times since they acquired them in March, including in June with a person who was suicidal, claiming to have a gun, begging officers to kill him. The device fires off an 8-foot Kevlar rope with bent hooks on the ends. From up to 25 feet away, police can restrain someone without having to resort to using lethal force.
If we can come to a peaceful resolution with mitigating the chance of either the subject we're dealing with or the officer, and nobody's injured out of it, that's the ultimate goal that we can reach.
All of Defiance's road officers carry them. The department's 2 school resource officers will also have them this year. The devices cost roughly $1,000 each, less than the price of a typical taser.
Well, we've already had 3 deployments that has paid for these 3 times over.
Schaefer says they're not perfect for every situation, like when someone's pointing a gun at officers. But he says every time his department has used one, nobody was hurt, and any of the scenes could have escalated.
I'm glad whatever you do, you did.
And since the device is still new, only 570 departments nationwide have purchased them so far, roughly. The company tells me that includes 22 departments in Ohio. As for here in the city of Toledo, a spokesperson says they are not considering buying them at this time. Live tonight in the Action News Now streaming center, I'm Josh Croup.
And it comes as no surprise that the Jeep has a rich history in Toledo, but it's not the only city where residents call it the home of the Jeep. We sent 13 ABC's Josh Croup to Pennsylvania, to the city there that is equally as proud of its Jeep heritage.
It's an American icon, a vehicle designed for the battlefield that's now a staple of the American auto industry, 80 years after its creation. Toledo has manufactured Jeeps from the very beginning. Well, almost.
This little 4-cylinder engine is pretty powerful.
To find the birthplace of the Jeep, we have to take a road trip to a small city 30 miles north of Pittsburgh. Welcome to Butler, Pennsylvania, or known in these parts as the home of the Jeep. Jeeps are everywhere here. Wooden cutouts sit outside banks, dentist offices, and even the fire station. The city has hosted its own Jeep festival since 2011, breaking the Guinness World Record for the longest Jeep parade twice. Jack Cohen started Jeep Fest in Butler.
Well, in Butler County, we're really proud of the creation of the Jeep.
A marker across the street from the courthouse gives the city the title of Home of the Jeep, though its official slogan on the books here is the birthplace of the Jeep. Historians say that's more appropriate. In World War II, the Army sought a light off-road reconnaissance vehicle to give the United States the edge in battle. In 1940, it asked 130 companies in the U.S. to come up with a working prototype within 75 days. Only 2 companies responded, the Bantam Car Company in Butler and Willys Overland Motors in Toledo.
It wasn't like you could take an existing truck or an existing car and make modifications.
Bantam developed the first prototype and won the government contract. But the company only manufactured some 2,600 Jeeps here. It couldn't keep up with demand. Enter Willys. The Army turned to the Toledo company. It took over and manufactured roughly 360,000 Jeeps for the war. Ford also contributed 280,000. But after the war, Willys kept making Jeeps, this time for everyday Americans.
They couldn't do anything without us. Think about that. You know, you might have a mom and a dad, but without either one of those, you're not there. Every bit of that was here in Butler County.
Clearly, there wouldn't be a Jeep without the Bantam people.
Jerry Huber used to manage Toledo's Jeep manufacturing facility. He now helps organize the city's Jeep Festival.
When it comes down to what is the home of the Jeep, then I think you shift your focus towards Toledo, because they're still produced here, and they have been produced here for 80 years now.
Still, the people of Butler don't shy away from claiming their city is the Jeep's home.
There is no question, birthplace and home. They're both here in Butler, Pennsylvania.
For Jeep historians like Huber, one of those titles works, but not both. Acknowledging the Jeep was born in Butler, but raised in Toledo.
Identifying Butler as a birthplace for the design of the vehicle and so forth, that works for me. I think that works for most of the real Jeep aficionados. But I think when you start talking about what is the home of the Jeep, I think of the longer term, in the past, the present, and God willing, the future here, because of the impact it's got on our community.
Josh Croup, 13 ABC, Action News. This is Jax. He's loyal, smart, athletic, alert, and loves attention. Our journey together started in August when I adopted him from the Humane Society of Ottawa County, where he was surrendered.
Hey, Jax.
Lisa Heredia is the shelter director. The staff knew Jax was a mixed breed. Their best guess was miniature pinscher and beagle. So what kind of dog is Jax? The only thing I knew for sure is that he was a good boy. I asked my followers on Facebook what you thought. The answers were all over the place. So we turned to science to get some answers. The company Embark Veterinary is among those selling what are essentially dog versions of 23andMe DNA test kits. Embark scientists analyze each stretch of each chromosome to examine the genetic makeup of the dog, which lets us learn their breed, family tree, and any health issues they may have inherited. Adam Boyko is the chief scientist for Embark.
We came into this business because we wanted to do research to make dogs live longer, healthier lives.
They sent me a kit to try out. Around 4 weeks later, I got his results and was shocked. Embark says Jax is almost 40% Australian Shepherd, 25% Chihuahua. And his genes also include some Poodle, Shetland Sheepdog, Chow Chow, and Collie.
I do see the Australian Shepherd, but man, that Chihuahua, that's just funny.
Jax had a good health report, but those results can help other dog owners understand how to give their pets the best care possible and inform breeders of what negative traits are in certain dogs.
Our goal in the next 10 years is to make it so that dogs live on average 3 years longer. Hopefully we get dogs living as long as cats.
These kits and others like them are in high demand during the holidays, but Heredia says the increasing demand seen since the pandemic has hit shows an increased appreciation for man's best friend.
And I think it's shown the shift in how people perceive their dogs now. Some years ago, they weren't so much a part of the family, and I think now they really are.
Good boy. Reporting in Toledo with the newest member of my family, Josh Croup, 13 ABC, Action News.